I'm in York today. Step one should have been to bring my reactive sunglasses, but too late for that. Step two, or the most obvious step, is come out of the station down there and walk along the city walls, because why not? Quite long. How long are the city walls? I don't know. Yeah, you're going to have to deal with not seeing me very easily. Um, but yeah, walk along the city walls for a bit and see what we find. They go around the outside of the city, which means we won't go in the snickerways in the centre with the shop. But hey, that's fine. We get a good vantage point from up here. Can see York Minster. York is a city, so tick on the list. But it doesn't have a cathedral. There's reasons for that, I'm sure. But yes, I don't have plans. I've been to York plenty of times before um, for various things, for a conference, to see some dinosaurs in the York Barbican, um, and various other things. Been for a bar crawl that was absolutely great on a stag do. Well done, Hannah, for organising that. And yeah, so I've never really felt, oh, and I've been to the Christmas market and things. But have I explored? I don't feel I've had the time to explore. So that's today. I walked around the city walls. Um, yeah, might go. I was looking up on Wiki Voyage. There's lots of museums, but they're all like £7 or £9 entry. I don't think I want to do the mass touristy things. Um, I might keep an eye on OpenStreetMap and see if I come near any smaller museums that aren't listed on Wiki Voyage. Maybe I'll go to some. I mean, if I get bored at the end of the day, the other side of the station is the National Railway Museum. That's free entry, and might go to that. I've not been, always wanted to. Might even pay for a steam ride if they're running. Um, but for now, I'm just gonna wander. Yeah, might like to go off the wall to cross the river, back on the wall maybe. Might wander around the museum gardens. We'll see, and I'll bring you with me. I should have said one of the aims today is to avoid the crowds that the York races are on, the horse races, everyone dressed up, drinking a lot, plus the usual crowds of stag do's that happen in York. So yeah, not in the mood for that. So apart from people walking behind me when filming, York Museum Gardens are quite nice for that, just relaxing away from the crowds. There are bits of shade that are nice and bits of wander around. I'm in, I think, the edible garden now towards the back. But yeah, that's nice. I have a story that I've heard about a friend that I need to confirm with them. Apparently when they come to York, or when they used to come to York for work, they would go early on the train and put some nuts in their briefcase. And before going to the courts as a barrister, they'd come to these gardens, get the nuts out and feed the squirrels, which is a delightful story. Don't know if that's true, so I might ask him. Not sure where I am now. I'm gonna go. Let's do some more exploring around the edge of the city. Although I really should go and find a shop where I can get a sun hat. I stupidly did not prepare for this day. It's fun exploring the walls, not knowing when you'll get a chance to go down steps and get off them, not knowing where it quite leads if you resist the urge to look at the map like I'm doing. You get different views into garden, into the grounds of York Minster, I think. And yeah, just the wall differs. Sometimes there's a railing, sometimes there's a wall and it's really narrow to pass people. Other times it's narrow and there's 6 foot drop into nettles. but fun and interesting, and just quite a unique way to explore a city. And you get the little mini towers and lookout bits, and you're like, oh, what will I see over here? Oh, just some houses, but some nice grass. Do many people even come and see York Minster from this side of the city, far end from the station? And the grounds look interesting looking down there, the kind of mown, nicely kept lawn and kind of paths through the more undergrowth and the trees. Yeah, so I don't know how accessible the grounds are, but I'd quite like to wander around there, so I might try doing that. Don't know where I can get down off this wall, but I'll keep walking. Yeah, probably get some lunch. Who knows what else? Buy a hat. I really need to find a hat. When I was on the city wall, which is just over there across the road, someone pointed out to the people there with York St John's University, which was the polytechnic of the two unis in the city. Been to the other uni. Is that just called York? Um, yeah, and anyway, they pointed out it is nicer. But it's definitely got older buildings and yeah, very well maintained gardens. So once I was off the wall, I thought, yeah, I'll have a walk around. Let's see how much of the campus I can walk around. Yeah, so this Lord Mayor's Walk campus of York St John. I think don't you have a few people that are studying here, or maybe they finished. I'm not sure they're in York now. But yeah, who knows? Could bump into them. Don't quite expect it. But yeah, I'll wander around. This is a nice place to walk around. How much? There's a map. Maybe I'll walk past a couple of buildings and then turn back into town, find somewhere to buy a hat and some lunch. It's gone 12:30, so by the time I find somewhere for lunch, hopefully the crowds will have gone a bit. But yeah, this is nice little bit to walk around. Oh, they've got some modern buildings. They look nice too. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I came off the wall at Monk's Bar, went and saw St John's Uni, and then went back to Monk's Bar, had a wonderful lunch at the Roll Lake pub. And this is the far end of York, but so much nicer, more interesting, busy, but a little bit calmer. And there's some breeze blowing along here. I'm right by the Minster. Could possibly go around that way. I don't know if I get into the gardens and the deanery and those grounds there. I think I might actually go in the Minster because I've never done that. It's hopefully really cool in there because of the stone, and should be quite nice. Can see some of the masonry along here. Yeah, just in this is quite cool. Might have a look at this for a bit longer and then go in. But it's just such a hot day, which is it's not yeah, not what I'm built for. Down alleyways, looking at OpenStreetMap, I wouldn't have gone down here otherwise. But you do find interesting things you spot on the map and you're like, what's there? So not much here, but there's some old walls. It's the remains of Norman House, which is described as York's oldest house. A little bit interesting in what otherwise is just kind of bit behind some shops and restaurants. Yeah, so quite cool. Interesting to see the remains and something a bit different. Bit different to York Minster, which is just round the corner. It was 16 quid entry. Like, I want to go there, have a look, read some things historically maybe, but mainly I just want to sit down and just reflect in a church. But yeah, wasn't up for paying 16 quid. Maybe if it was like 8 quid like the museums, I might have. Um, so I'm not finding any museums that interest me enough because they're all expensive and I'm not that bothered. But I'm going to wander around. I'll wander through the shops now and yeah, I don't know, just do exploring and maybe not worry about the map or the video for a while. Um, I did find a church to go into, All Saints Pavement, um, right in the middle of the hustle and bustle. Um, really quite peaceful and calm in there. And cool. Yeah, the stone keeps it cool. It's 14th century parish church. Um, yeah, lots of old stuff. 15th century ceiling. Um, well in there, peaceful in its church. I can reflect and pray. Um, would have been nice to have a bit more signs or information, either kind of prayers or things to pray about, or even just history of the church. But anyway, I sat there for a bit, and it was really nice. Um, but I'll wander on now. I got to the railway museum. It's a bit of a longer walk than I realised from the station to get to the entrance, and the main hall's very echoey. But it's fun. There's lots of trains to look at. Um, and I thought that was it, but I didn't realise what I really like is there's one train that's cut open and you can see how it works, what the boiler looks like, a bit different to what I thought, and obviously how it boils the water and makes it move. There's other bits, looks like I can go underneath that train. Um, so yeah, a bit more exploring, lots of steps to see in the carriages and trains. I'll have a look around. I won't give you all the details as usual. Come and see, but yeah, it's looking quite fun so far. I'm now in one of the first bullet trains of the Shinkansen um, in Japan. Really fun, super fast. From the 60s, and it was double the speed of any train in the UK, 130 miles an hour. And I've been on one more recently on one of the modern versions, and it feels super fast. It's quite crazy. Fun thing happened. You want to look back at the last clip. I was watching the model railway, and unfortunately, one of the trains derailed. But it's all encased in glass. How do you get to it? There's a few doors at the side, but you wouldn't be able to reach in. And then you realise the volunteer goes in to secret room, a cupboard, and then part of the model just hinged up and up popped his head to help with that broken one. And then, so you look back. If you look back at the clip, you can see the kind of goods yard. You'll start to notice gaps in the board, in the ground of the model, and yeah, you start to spot other places where there's little hinges. Was a fun little sneak into, I guess, a bit of behind the scenes of that. So that was cool. But yeah, I'm enjoying being here in the afternoon. I think it's cooling down outside, so yeah, maybe I'll wander back into York. Don't know if I'll look at anything else or if I'll get the train back to Durham. If it is cool, I might pop into another one of the great pubs of York. Did you know York has a beach? I didn't know that until I looked on the map and saw it. But when I got there, it was heavily populated with swans and geese, which is not a good idea to go down and take their space. Yeah, they probably would have attacked me. I did. I did see that topless guy on the little boat. I thought he pulled up there, and I thought he was going to attempt climbing onto the bank. I was prepared for some hilarity or some unfortunate event, but no, he was staying on the boat, or at least for as long as I waited there. Yeah, just before that, I saw a hand pump, a water pump, iron thing, but it had the handle um, down on the ground, kind of pinned down. I thought, oh, that massively reminds me of the story of the Jon Snow well and how maps were used uh, to save people and figure out cholera and the cause of that. Anyway, so I was like, that can't be right. Like, that's in London. Why would it be there? Turns out it's the street that Jon Snow was born on, and it's just a memorial. That's obviously not the pump or where it was, but that was interesting a little bit. I would have taken a photo or a video of it, but there were some lads that had been drinking and were quite out of it, and they were kind of laying back, relaxed, right by the pump, so that didn't seem appropriate. So I'm walking along the river now. Well, I was by the beach and by that pump. I'm walking along the river. I was right by the station, the museum was there, but I decided to walk back across town. Still, it's just coming up to 5 now. It's still really hot sun. For I'm about to lose some of the shade for a bit. I need trees. But yeah, decided to walk back across town to the south. There's a park that looks interesting, quite big, full of art, and hopefully lots of trees and shade. I think it's called Rowlands Park. But anyway, also an interesting church tower or some clock tower. Well, maybe I'll go a bit further than this Millennium Bridge. But yeah, it looks good. It just looks like it might be a nice place to wander for a bit longer in York before heading home to Durham. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I need another drink though, or maybe an ice cream. I really hope there's somewhere in the park or nearby that I can get one of those. He'll keep me going a bit longer, and then get the train home. Oops. Before the park, before the bridge over to the park, I spotted an ice cream boat. So I had to say yes. Not the only ice cream boat I've spotted today. So apparently that's a thing. Yeah, definitely a good option. Also, I am enjoying the walk here. The extra things I saw some tracks in the grass crossing the path, which was interesting. You can tell how hot today it is by how quickly this ice cream's melting. Yeah, so a little tiny railway. I was like, oh, but is that some historic kind of tourist ride-on track or something? There is a sign. It's a little depot railway from the river going to the Ordnance Depot behind the wall. But yeah, that was fun to see. Nice that someone's clearly cleared it recently for others to see. That clock tower I saw, it's Yeah, it's right by. I saw some artwork on the map that's called Chocolate Orange. I thought, haha, that's fun. Let's go see what it is. Meanwhile, I did some research, and spoiler alert here. Terry's. Where's the clock tower? There's the clock tower, and I'll show you in a bit. Yeah, this is clearly old factory, so I didn't realise Terry's used to be based in York. I think that must be why there's a York chocolate experience, but another touristy thing for 15 quid. I'm not interested. Can buy chocolate from the shop and actually come here and see. Wow, it looks quite fun. I don't know what date this is, but like, yeah, that's a big solid building. Would have been a substantial factory. Can you see that? Yeah. Sorry, the sun's in the wrong place. But yes, I can actually come see where it is, because it's now a load of residences. The other side of the building is York Racecourse, across the road. There's a collection of buildings here. Yeah, so I can definitely hear music from that and the party going full on. So sorry about that noise. I'm going to wander around, and I'm hoping to find a big chocolate orange. Yeah, we'll see. There's a better view of the main factory building. Yeah, it's impressive. Almost as impressive as the noise coming, yeah, like 500 yards away. Right, now where was it? I don't want to flip back to my map. I think we're gonna, oh, it looks like it'd be very nice to go here. I think we're gonna go around this corner between two buildings. I expected to see it down here. That's the main building, I guess. Where did the clock tower go? I don't know. The clock tower. Oh, I'm right beside it. There's the clock tower. Where is this giant chocolate orange? Oh, it's here. I might need to check the map. I'm not sure which buildings it's between. It seemed to be in a courtyard. Now I'm getting lost. Let me check the map and then we'll do another reaction. Okay, I've had to double back turn so you can't see me very well. This building is apparently called Chocolate House, or Orange House was it? And the older one is the Chocolate Works Care Home. But turning right here, I can see it. Oh, it's smaller than I imagined. It's just like a bronze sphere. Yeah, I mean it's bigger than an actual chocolate orange and it's a bit segmented, but I could probably put my arms around that easy enough. Except it's like, I don't know, really big and impressive. But anyway, I'll go up to it, I'll read the sign, I'll show you a picture. This is a residential area, so I hope they don't mind. But hey, if you're going to have a artwork, a memorial to the Terry's Chocolate Orange, then you got to expect the odd random crazy visitor. Oh, I think a mini book library. Like only know. Right, here we go. You can see me. So, oh, that's a noisy bus. Because I was by the race course, so there were loads of taxis heading to pick people up. It's probably the end or the end of the party time anyway. And so there were also shuttle buses, only £2 back to the station. I was quite tempted, but would have missed the park. And then I saw those e-scooters for hire. Not only that, you get your first 2 rides free. 20 minutes rides free with a code that's printed on the scooter. So Yes, I eventually got the app working, register that, looked at the map where there were scooters because I walked quite a bit, went and got one, went back into Roundtree Park, and then it slowed down, and turns out that's a no-go area. But it only shows you on the map where the no-go areas are once you've started riding. Well, of course, I wasn't even looking at the app at that point. I had OSMan show me some decent maps, using OpenStreetMap data. But hey, so it stopped me once I was halfway through the park, which was really annoying. Had to drag this scooter along to get out the other side, because actually I'd gone quite far in. It hadn't even told me on the app. It wasn't very clear. So I was in a no-go area when I flipped back. But yeah, so I did that. It took me about 15 minutes, including that dragging, to get by the station. Also, you can't park them anywhere that you can park a bike. It has to be in a designated tier place. So not as good an experience as I've had in other cities that have such scooter and bike car schemes. But hey, I'm back here. I'm worn out. And getting close to the station. Not as close as I thought I could. Also, not enough clear cycle routes in York, unless maybe you know where you are. But that's been York. Back at the city walls, back at the station. Still really hot. Time to go home.